So hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's orchestrating, delegating, broadcasting, transcoding, or AI inference. We're here to ask questions and get answers. We got a couple topics today. Let's start out with, just sounds like we got some transcoding, RAM usage, and fatal errors, and some topics that came up. So let's jump straight into those. Pon, do you want to kick us off with what you're seeing with the increased RAM usage and what? Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so basically I made a new transcoding machine, put a couple of GPUs in it. I have a couple of orchestrators in the same machine. And I noticed that system RAM usage just going up mentally. So for example, yesterday in total, we've been doing about 30 streams. So there is 4 GPUs in it for background. And we've been using about 40 gigs of RAM. And when streams drops down, the amount of system RAM usage drops down as well. So I'm just wondering, is it me doing something wrong, or is it just the new normal now? So I'm not really sure. Has anyone seen anything similar?
I wonder, is that the orchestrator side that's doing that, or do you think it's the transcoder side that's doing that?
I'm not really sure because all the setups that in machine is combined ONT. So I'm guessing it's going to be orchestrator side that's doing it.
Because I'm running standalone O's, and I haven't been monitoring it closely. But for instance, like my Frankfurt location's got 2 streams actively right now, and its system RAM is 0.8 gigs usage. So, is it constant? Is it spiking? What's happening there?
It's spiking together with streams. So I've been monitoring what's been using the system RAM. So it's definitely Livepeer process using it. I'm just not sure is using Docker contributing to it as well. I had a little chat with Virus, and he said with 25 streams, he's seeing about 20 gigs of RAM used as well. So it just seems like abnormal amount what it used to be before. Well, half a year ago, probably. And it's definitely Livepeer process that's consuming the system RAM. So no, it's not that easy to duplicate it. You need a load to see is it increasing or not, but it's definitely increasing with the load. Let's say the amount of streams you got.
Do you know, can you tell if these are video on demand or live streams?
It's constant, so it's more or less going to be live streams, I'm guessing. I wasn't monitoring the logs that closely to tell you. And I'm not sure, can you see the difference in logs?
No, but I do know that like if you get 10-second segments, I think those are usually VOD. And if they transcode into back into 1080p or something, like that's another indication it's VOD. I just know that yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like 1080p plus. I saw one of them flying around as well. I'm just not sure, is it testing or something else?
I'm pretty sure that's VOD.
All right.
Is that off a cell phone? I think like that's like a different aspect ratio that makes it go into those weird numbers.
Okay, that's fair enough. It just means that everyone while with the demand increasing, we're gonna upgrade not only GPUs but machines itself.
How much memory is in the system?
So I got 125 gig in total.
Yeah.
And yesterday, 40 gig was consumed.
Yeah, I think as long as you have free memory, the system's probably going to end up taking it unnecessarily. You probably can end up capping the Docker container to say it only gets a certain amount of system RAM or CPU. You can cap how much you get, but I don't know how much an org needs because I don't think I see 30 streams going through my org.
No, it just been three different orcs in one machine, so that's why we managed to get that amount of streams.
I see. I see. I missed that part.
I wish 35 streams would be all mine, but
I was gonna say, man, you're doing pretty good.
yeah. No, I'm just
Well,
wondering, but at the end of the
I
day,
wouldn't be concerned. And when the streams go away, does the RAM usage go down?
yeah.
Yeah. See, I would think that's just the OS letting the process take more when it maybe doesn't need to. There's a process for like claiming resources the OS goes through. I don't think there's a problem if there's plenty of RAM. If you were to see like constantly going up and up and up and never ever coming down, then I would say there's a concern there. But I don't think there's a problem. I think the more workload you add to the system, it'll start to balance it out when it has to be constrained with the free memory available. You have plenty free, so let her rip.
No, so my concern in that was it's not using up the memory, but is our transcoding performance going down if we don't have adequate amount of RAM in it as well?
Yeah, I mean, when you start to get constrained in the memory, when the free memory or the total memory and the available memory starts to shrink, then you probably will start to affect performance. But if you have the free memory available, you continue to put workload on there. I would just watch the system as it gets closer to the 128. But as long as it's well below that, 90% or less, you're probably in fine shape. Swap would be the area I would look at. If you start swapping memory, then you would have a concern. But if you're not swapping and you have free memory available, as long as it goes away when the streams goes away, you're doing all right.
I missed how
All
much
right,
memory are you using and how many streams?
about 40 gigs of RAM for about 35 streams.
I mean, I have less than half that amount of streams, and I'm using about 20 gigs on this node that I'm looking at. In fact, I have 15 streams, and I'm using 19 gigs of RAM. So that seems.
And how much?
I mean, I don't know
How
if the
much
scale's
total do
equal.
you have?
Is it system RAM?
It's 64 gigs.
Yeah, see,
That's
same thing.
system
You have
RAM,
plenty
yeah.
you have plenty free, plenty available. So it just expands out. As long as that RAM usage goes down when the streams go away, that's healthy.
Yeah, I'll be
No,
honest. I haven't really
no,
measured it that much. I just heard you talking about it. You guys couldn't hear me, but I was able to hear you guys. So I will keep an eye on that just now out of curiosity. But
Yeah, I'm gonna look at mine as well just to see what my usage looks like at different thresholds.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. The main reason why I'm asking is just have we been hurting our transcoding performance? Like, let's say taking boxes with a GPU and 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. I'm guessing it's just gonna start hurting it, isn't it?
I have one orchestrator running on a 4 gigs of RAM system, and I see it'll get to 10 streams and it's fine. No swapping.
All right.
But again, it's a constrained system on purpose. So when it hits that limit, when it gets close, if it gets into the 95 percentile where it starts swapping, then yeah, I will hit performance problems. But on one of it, it's the small thing. I try to keep them as small as I need them to be. The more resource you have, it's just going to use it.
I've only noticed stream test like showing slower performance when I have a lot of streams, and I think that's a issue of the GPUs being maxed out more than the RAM.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'll also say, like,
that's fine.
I run standalone O's, and they all have 4 gigs of RAM. So
standalone O's don't use much. It's when you get the transcoding one combined.
So it's the T flag.
Yeah, the T's definitely do it.
Yeah. So I will say, like, I don't think it's the O side of things. I do think it's by the sounds of it, is
the T side.
Transcode. Is this since the new upgrade to the new using the
7.4?
Like the new Linux slow, like using all that extra buffering and stuff.
MPP scaling. Yeah, the new changes to quality they added absolutely are adding to the resource usage.
Because before that, I mean, I don't think system RAM was like ever really utilized in the process.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it seems to take more RAM when the GPU is involved, but I'd have to go back and look at some of my data just to see. But absolutely, the 07X, whatever 07 release you've been on since they made those changes to use the CUDA scaling, that definitely has put a hurting on the GPU resources.
So basically, in short, if the demand gonna increase, as Livepeer is saying, 5x, probably all of us gonna have to upgrade their systems.
You're going to have to put the proper session limits in place to make sure that you can, safely transcode without blowing up your rig.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, now that I'm looking, I do have a server that has only 16 gigs of RAM, has about the same amount of streams as the other one that I mentioned, and it's only using 7 gigs of RAM. So there does seem to be some
So it's
kind of
just
correlation with it using the.
yeah, does it just using it because it's available?
Pig, baby.
Yeah, I'd have
That's that
to look
fat
more.
penguin working.
Yeah, I'd have to look more into it to really to give a better answer than that. But these are both within like 2 streams of each other. Now I don't know what the profiles are without going deeper, but yeah, one's using about half the amount of RAM than the other one. In fact, a little bit less than half. So that's something to look into. But if you've got the RAM, I wouldn't really worry about it personally.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it
what I'm
just was
saying.
I just was interesting change to see, if you know what I mean. We never used to use that much before.
And again,
And I
I
was
forget off the top of my head, but you can in Docker go in and say this container can only take X amount of GPU or X amount of CPU and X amount of RAM and kind of keep it contained.
right, fair enough. No, it just I was blaming Ben and his monitoring stack.
Then that's definitely it. If you, I didn't know what Ben's stack was on there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's
I don't.
looking at monitoring data and it's showing that crazy number. I'd be scratching my head too, but as long as it went in healthy reason, I think it's fine. If you want to really see how your performance looks, I would constrain the container down to like 6 gigs of RAM or 10 gigs of RAM and see if the behavior is a little bit more what you thought it should be. All right.
Since the penguin's taking up all the RAM, are the windows taking up the RAM too?
Windows is different. I to be honest with you, I couldn't even say how Windows would react. I don't know. I haven't run it in that capacity. Linux is pretty much Unix systems where I do a lot of monitoring.
Well, there we go. All right, so we've come to no conclusion other than everyone should watch their RAM on the old Penguin machine.
Well, I think it's healthy. It may look different because you have the RAM, but unless you see swap usage or something, I think there should be no concern. If you really want to have better control over it, then I would look to cap the containers to what they could use, and then I think you'll be able to see more normal behavior.
Definitely.
Okay, thanks, guys.
No doubt, man.
All right, well, let's keep going. Is John here? John, similar topic around fatal errors, fatal transcoding errors. I don't see him in here anymore.
He had to leave. He said drop for a moment, so he will come back.
Cool. Okay. Well, there we go. We'll see we'll get him to elaborate when he arrives. Okay, let's keep moving on. I wanted to talk a little bit, I guess, yeah, my topics. One was the Livepeer Innovators DAO voting is happening right now. We will probably wait until after the voting ends before we have a meeting. I already scheduled the meeting. So if you are in the LID and you're in this chat, look forward to that. coming up. And if you have any questions, please let me know or anything like that. So that is being processed. Next was this app idea. I don't know if you guys saw in the general chat, I posted like this idea of this app that converted a 2-hour meeting into a 1-minute kind of summary using a combination of Whisper, ChatGPT, this 11.7 voiceover, and then the Livepeer AI subnet for the video. And what I got was one was just a generic summary of Mike. By the way, you're cutting in and out with your mic. I don't know if it's there you go. So the idea was, you summarize this 2-hour meeting into something that's a bit more palpable. So I got him to do I built this first one that does the water cooler chat in a minute. And then I did a second one where I took a comedy spin on it, and I tried to I did a Federal Reserve, meeting that was about an hour long, and I summarized it in 2 minutes as a comedian, right? And then the third one I'm thinking about doing as an example is doing another water cooler chat, but having it do it in like bullet point form, so it's even easier to follow. So 5 bullet points. They walk through it all and see if that helps extrapolate what actually happened in the meeting. So I got some laughs out of it. I got some people wanted more, so that was kind of cool. I just wanted to see if there's any feedback for exploring this idea further, with whether anyone would watch the water cooler chat reviews, the minute reviews, summaries.
I really liked it. Loved it.
Yeah, it seemed like I was like, hey, this is, I don't know. I feel like also the way to do it is maybe like a Chrome plugin, where as you're scrolling through YouTube or something, it would just be this like plugin that would be like, hey, summarize this video for me. And it would just be, created for you on the spot based on the page you're on. And so you get this like your own custom little, AI video summary of what's being said here, and maybe it'll save you time. So and then you could like reshare that video if you wanted to post it or share it with someone. But yeah.
I really like the format. So you said you used Whisper to start it, to train it.
Yeah, I hucked it all together. I used a different plugin to get the transcription. So I think they use Whisper, so I didn't use it directly. But
Because I have Whisper as a draft already for the subnet.
Right. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
And then Doug asks, what did you use further from the subnet already? Is it from Gray generating the moving images and stitching them together for visuals? It's in the chat.
Oh yeah, I see. It's for generating the movie images where they stitch together for the visuals. So what I did was, okay, so this is the format. I got the transcription, then I got ChatGPT to summarize obviously the whole transcription into the length of text I wanted, right? So like 2 paragraphs or whatever. And then I used ChatGPT to get so then I went to 11.7 and I converted that summary into audio. And then I used ChatGPT to extrapolate like the pauses in the voice. So like every 6 words or like every period or like and so it would be like a sentence about like the Federal Reserve Chair. Okay, so that takes about 3 seconds, which is roughly the length of doing text video. So then you would take that piece and you would re-ask ChatGPT, what would be a good image to represent this text based on a comedy theme or whatever theme you want, right? So then it would say, well, this image would be a guy standing at the front of a courtroom with a clown face on. Okay, so it came up with the prompt of the image. Then I took that image and I put it into the subnet to do text to image, and then from the image I did image to video, and then I stitched together all the videos to line up with the audio, and that's how you end up with that's the process. And so the idea would be I could probably build a Python pipeline that kind of does all this using APIs with 11.7, APIs through obviously the subnet, and you could create a pipeline that would do this based on, essentially just a YouTube video link or something, right?
I hear the coder in you coming out.
Ha!
I wanted to chime in. How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
On the app that we proposed, Grader, it has the gamification function in it, which will build out learning modules for things of this nature, where you're talking about basically compartmentalizing these type of chats into more digestible material. Outside of using ChatGPT for assistance, this is where like the art of storytelling and marketing and branding can be all tied in one shot to ensure that these modules hit their intended base, whoever that might look like. Because from my purview right now, I understand why a lot of things are in-house, but there's also opportunities to bring outside people in, but you just have to make it palatable and enticing at the same time. So this is where this gamification aspect will engage users both on an interface level and an experience level, and achieve ultimate goal, which is educating them on the Livepeer network.
Right on. Yeah. So I mean, this is what's so interesting about this AI movement and different areas of collaboration, is finding out different proof of concepts and finding out different tooling and these kinds of things. So yeah, no, there's definitely multiple avenues to go. But yeah, in the case of this proof of concept, my example was just like, I want to watch so many like meetings because I want the information, but I don't have, like, water cooler chats take 2 hours, and a lot of it is just maybe banter or something you're not really, you don't want that information, or you're just not, it's just, meetings in general last a long time and can have very little context. And reading a transcript is fine. Having ChatGPT transcribe it is better. Having having it read to you in a funny context is even better. And then I figured the finale would be, being read to you with great visuals, all custom based on a style that you wanted it to read to you. So like a comedy style, a serious style, a dark horror theme style. Like you could just prompt the different ways you would want someone to explain this meeting to you, right? And then it becomes entertaining, and then you get the gist of what happened. But then so anyway, that was kind of the proof of concept. And so yeah, if anyone has any more ideas on that or any more feedback, that'd be great.
So if you have Whisper on the subnet, you can replace that, right? Then you have text to image or text to audio. You can replace that part. So only the large language model is going to be hard.
Yeah. So the Whisper. Yeah. So if I could use Whisper to transcribe, then I would just. Yeah. I would just find a large language model. I don't know if I could run one locally or just use someone else's APIs to just convert the the whole transcription into a summary, use, figure out the prompts, and then go back into the subnet and do the text to image, image to video, stitch them together. And the only and what would be nice is each 3-second video portion can be like, right now I'm just the subnet, obviously I've only been able to do one image to video at a time because it just keeps using the same the same AI node, the same orchestrator. So I've been having to wait 60 to 90 seconds per 3-second segment. So it's taken me a while to stitch together a full video, like an hour. But what would be nice is, you could come up with all your prompts immediately. You would get back your image in sub 1 second, essentially, and then you could fire off all 20 or 30 text or image to video requests at the same time on the subnet. And so then you can have a full video summary, a full product working thing back in the time it takes to render one 3-second video, because you could do them all simultaneously through the network, which is really cool. That it's kind of like parallelizing the work, which would be different than, say, renting one H100 where you're still waiting for, maybe you could do concurrently 2 or 3 image to video tasks, but with the Livepeer network, I could do 30 all simultaneously, right? So that could be really interesting.
Wait, Titan, are you saying that speed is important? You were the one that said like people can come back in an hour and check out their clip, man. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Hey.
I'm giving you a hard time because I remember like you were saying it doesn't matter. People are willing to wait.
Listen,
but because I'm the big proponent of it's got to be faster. People are going to get bored and they're going to leave and not want to use it. So
listen,
I'm kind of ribbing you,
Mr. Bear. I have no idea what I'm talking about. All right, so take everything.
You're making my point. You know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? I only can think as fast as my brain works, and sometimes it's quite slow. So, yeah, no, you're right. Speed does matter. I'm just saying on my poll, my Twitter poll, speed was the least important factor. But people don't know what they actually want sometimes. If anyone's been in business, people say they want one thing, but really they want another. They just don't know it yet.
So I guess the takeaway is Twitter polls, just take them for what they're worth, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I would say Twitter polls is probably a loose resource of truth.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to off track it. I had to jump in there. I couldn't resist.
That's okay. No. Well, hey, this is my feedback right here, right in front of me, right? No, this is just like an app concept that I thought of, and it would fix my own problem of wanting to watch long videos that I don't have the time to. Like, for me, I really want to watch like the Ethereum Foundation meetings, but like they're hard. Like, they're really hard to listen to. Like, I really want to know what's happening, but it's slow. I mean, it's slow and dry. And yeah. So a 1-minute comedian take on it would be amazing. And if we can get Whisper into our pipeline, that's also really cool. That would be a good use for this app.
Yeah, it's already working. So the only thing we have to sort out is how would you pay for something like that? Is it per second? Then audio, or is it per bit? That's our translated, or how do you call it? Transformed into text.
Right. Because
So
do they have different? Is there different qualities of Whisper, or is Whisper basically just one quality outcome?
I think you have 2 currently. So let me double check that. I used version 3, and you also have a small version.
I think it also needs to consider how long it takes to process. Because I mean, how long you're tying up that card, whether it's easy, hard, or whatever, it's still keeping it from doing other jobs. So I would try and work that in.
Yeah, so that's something we still have to work out, but that's the only thing that prevents it from being on the separate NAND
Right.
now currently. Yeah. And it loaded really fast on the GPU. It was 2 seconds load time and then 1 second request or something. So it was really nice.
Cool. I'll have to maybe load it locally and see if I can get it to do something. But yeah, cool. Probably I'm gonna continue working on the proof of concept first, seeing if like it's interesting to people. I'm sure I'm not the only one that is thinking of this.
I think it will be really cool if you can just already the water cooler chats condensed, or like some kind of news, Livepeer news that's generated by AI from the whole week. That will be amazing.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Even Microsoft put out those talking heads where, you know, they look very realistic. Maybe they could read you the news. But I don't know what they're running or if even any of that is accessible to the public. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's that topic. Yeah, we don't have many more topics to go through, so this might be a short water cooler. But another topic is around IO.net. Now, I don't talk about many other protocols usually, but this was an interesting one. Is anyone following that protocol and what they're doing with generative AI and their deep neural network? Anyone familiar with it?
Yeah, I follow it to see what they're doing, but I didn't know they had a token launch. That's new to me.
So
Got a brief description. I'm not familiar with it.
So yeah,
I'll
so
send you the link.
there you go. IO.net, they're a DPIN that's doing, you know, essentially what Akash is doing, or kind of like what our subnet is doing, which is like you people put GPUs on the network and you use them for AI inference, right? And so what's been interesting is they've received like a lot of traction. Now, like when I mean a lot, I mean like they boast something like 50,000 GPUs on the network already. Like, I don't know how many like people involved, but you know, anyway, it's just like, you know, their Twitter account is blown up with like huge amount of following and like all this stuff. And so there's an individual that came out and was like, hey, like just looking at this, like this all seems pretty inflated, right? So he actually tried to go onto the network and try and rent these GPUs, and he really could, like he used up the whole network, used like 300, I guess there was like 320 GPUs on the network, is what he concluded. And this was just like based on like him actually trying it. So that was interesting. There were other weird issues where, was it like CoinDesk or something? They published an article on IO.net, and then it got 120,000 retweets, but yet every other article only has like maybe a couple thousand. So it's like this like bot farming kind of criticism from, again, the same individual. Obviously this individual is like really trying hard to expose, I use the quotes, expose this project. Then there was a pre-token launch they were going to do on Binance, and they were doing last week it was a 1 billion valuation pre-token launch, and this week it was a 2 billion valuation pre-token launch. Anyway, but yeah, now it's all come out that like Binance is reversing everything, and everyone basically is like, yo, this guy's a scammer. And so it's just like, yeah, there's it's really up in the air as to like the legitimacy of the project.
Yeah, so I had Rich asked me to do some calculation on that, and it's something that Deck as well shared in the chat here. So already from a perspective that we looked at their table, at least I looked at that their table already they hide some things that doesn't make any sense. Their table doesn't make any sense from a calculation perspective. So I was trying to find the calculations, but basically they just based on the seconds, they say they do like stable diffusion generated per $1, and then they multiply it by 8. But they don't. So there's a lot already from. They really try to market this thing too well. So I'm trying to get the calculation.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird as to what is happening. I mean, my spidey senses are tingling just because, I mean, just like being in a deep in protocol such as Livepeer that has matured to the point where we have how many GPUs on the network, who's involved, what does the organic feel like, and God forbid you actually go to their Discord channel. But anyway, I'm not here to bash them. I just think I just wanted to bring it to the forefront of the attention of like kind of what narratives are out there for this type of work and kind of what we should like take the good things for what we should be doing and then also try to not fall for the things that are we shouldn't be doing as a community or as a network. So yeah, I don't have any take on it yet. I just wanted to bring it to the attention of our community, the controversy happening over in that ecosystem. With
That's a good point. So yeah, the only thing that I saw, I haven't used it. I tried to use it, but I haven't used it. The only thing that I saw is that a lot of what they do is just marketing. They make their numbers look like really nice for their website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess the founder has a bad history of doing rug pulls, and it's getting exposed, and so yeah, that's nothing that's going to help. But yeah, so anyway, it's interesting just to see what parallel networks are doing what and what they're doing right and wrong, and how we fit into the ecosystem with our initiative, right? Yeah. That's all I really wanted to say on that. Does anyone have any comments on that? Any more comments? Probably not. Anyway, keep your eyes out. Take a peek. See what's going on. With that being said, any more topics? We've covered all of them from our introduction. Does anyone else have any more topics they'd like to cover while we're here?
I found the calculation what they're doing if you want to know it. Yeah.
Sure.
So in the table they say that they are doing 3600 sorry, it's late. 6300 images, but they say it generates in 5 seconds. So then if you do that calculation, you can only do 720 images in an hour. So then the pricing is not correct, or they already used 4 GPUs there. So that's what they're doing with numbers a little bit, some crazy things in their table.
Hmm.
I mean, I just jumped over to their site for the first time and took me a minute to make an account, but it says they have 777,000 GPUs. So maybe they've upped it since the numbers you were originally saying. Is that, weren't you were saying like 30,000, right?
No, it's not the GPUs. It's they have like this table with how many images you can do for one day.
Oh, no. Sorry, I was talking about what Titan said though. Like, did Titan? Didn't you said they had like 30,000 GPUs on their network?
Yeah. It depends who you ask, because they have.
Oh, I'm just looking at their site. It shows that they have
Yeah.
777,000 GPUs
Yeah, there's
for all of 75,000 CPUs, which does seem like quite a bit. I can't figure out how the site works yet, but I just see that up at the top. So it sounds like they're taking their marketing even further than they had it at the point where they were getting called out. That's I guess that was my point. Sorry.
Yeah. I think they have it posted how many GPUs are available in like a lot of different spots, and they're all quite conflicting.
It doesn't surprise me if their table also is not correct from a mathematical standpoint. They leave some information out to make it look more prettier. So like what Doc is saying, yeah, we will just do the math right instead of what they're doing to try to market everything and be very transparent about our numbers.
Yeah, so, okay, here it is. Here's the post I found. The new IO.NET update boasts 1.7 million GPUs. This is more GPUs than AWS, Google, Azure, and Meta combined. Damn, these guys are good. This is in joking matter. And then this post shows that they have 33,000 RTX 4070s, but none are actually available. And then if you press refresh, there's a total of 8,000, which is what they told me was less than last time. Anyway, if you want to see the trolling account, I'll share it. If you want to just...
I don't know exactly what this means, but here's what it's on their website right now. So take it for what it's worth.
There. Here's the account that's trolling. Feel free to look at the post. But yeah. He's on a rant. He's literally on a mission of just going after these guys, which is... It's interesting. He's just whistleblowing, so...
yeah, but it makes sense if you make up numbers, or at least change them, and then don't do any captions with your tables, then it makes sense that people call you out on that.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyway. That is that. Don't mean to beat a dead horse and whatever, but...
Yeah, let's see how it goes for their side as well, and their general compute as well. So I think the mission from Livepeer to focus on like video and media makes more sense here.
Yeah, the other...
For our network.
Yeah, the other... What was the other thing he mentioned? That you can't SSH into the machine, and so therefore, how can you confirm that it's running the model correctly? Or so it was like another topic. I think Yondon actually made a post about this exact issue or something like this.
The verification, I can share it if I find it quickly now.
Cool.
Really interesting paper. Here, it's in the chat now.
There we go.
So to quickly come back on, you said like the selection algorithm, I have some fixes for that, and I already have 2 pull requests that will be merged in. They're under review, and I also found all the other things that we could improve. So currently at my broadcaster, I can at least have 4 or 5 orchestrators working jobs.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, excited to use that update. Because even Let's Generate.ai, people are using it, which is kind of mind-blowing. I didn't actually think people would have found it and used it. So I come back every day, and there's been some more generative stuff happening. So it would be nice to have a better selection algorithm so we can do more than one user at a time. Cool. All right. Well, if there's no more topics, I guess we'll end it there.
Only Doc said one comment still in the chat. I think we can end with that one for the net.io.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I'll read it. For clarity, I wish the project no ill will. I'm sure they're working hard on their mission. I just think the leading table on the front page of the docs shouldn't contain such blatant error. When I DM'd them about it months ago... Oh, damn, you DM'd him? Crazy. I DM'd about it months ago. They said it was a mistake and they would fix it. Well, I'm assuming it's not fixed. But yeah, blatant lies on a web page, controversial stuff going on with token prices or token launching. They want to use the Binance, I think it's what's called the launch pad or something. Like a $2 billion market cap upon launch, and I don't know. Apparently, it was getting real interesting. So, and I haven't found like an actual non-bot user of their like Discord or like on their Twitter. So, just my 2 cents. I think we can, as a community, come together and if we just provide good APIs, good services, good docs, good use case, I think we should just be able to push forward and provide a good experience from the ground up. I think Deepin is just such a long way to go, and that's probably the best way to to go about it, is just building something good and useful from the beginning, and stay away from all the mania and the pumping and the potential dumping. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll go ahead and end it there. So thank you everyone for coming to today's water cooler chat, where we're making Livepeer the decentralized video infrastructure, open and decentralized video infrastructure for the world. So thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone.